Welcome to Remembering Your Oneness with Xane Daniel and Monika Kupiec, where we know everything, and so do you. Hello.
Aloha, everybody. Aloha, Xane.
So how are you feeling? Are you under the weather, Ms. Monika?
I was under the weather the last couple of days. I think stress has gotten the worst of me.
Oh, no. You are succumbed to stress. What?
I was succumbed to stress, and I actually got a flat tire on Saturday, and it was just like, rest. You need time to pause, and yeah, it all made sense.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay. And so what may I ask, have you been stressed about?
Well, I actually kind of went hard on the art markets this past month. Like I was doing one like every weekend, like back to back, and I was just like, let's just like try this. I wanted just to try something different, just to talk to more people. Not that I was getting lonely, but I'm like, you know what? I miss talking to people, because the last job that I had was I would talk to like almost 20 to 50 people a day. So just like kind of like missing it. But I realized I was overdoing it, and now that I have a job that I can pick when I get to work, I can actually focus on my mental health or on my health and my balance. That, okay, doing these back-to-back things are not healthy for me and they're not aligned with me. So it was really cool to finally just get that huge stop of like, okay, you have a flat tire, so you can't go to the market. You can't do other stuff that you wanted to do today. And instead I went to go work out with my friend, and like she like even talked to me too, like, you were going pretty hard on these markets and you didn't even reflect upon them. And it's like crazy how even from an outsider perspective, like my friends were like, they knew I was doing so much, but not like taking the time to rest or just to do something for myself.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So then you ended up kind of getting a cold. Is that also part of that? All wrapped up
I
in
feel like,
that?
yeah, because usually my body shuts down if there's like stress and stuff, or just like overdoing things.
Right. And so how are you feeling today?
Better.
Okay, good.
I took a shot of tequila last night and I feel better.
Oh gosh. Okay. Not the highest vibe approach, but yeah. Okay. Okay, cool.
I feel like it shook me out of my headspace, and it was just like, it was what I needed. I needed it. It actually like really grounded me. Like I was about to make dinner, but then like I sat on my kitchen floor talking to my friend, and I was like, you know what? This feels really good. I feel like I just needed to just sit back and enjoy myself.
Right, right. Well, one of the things about alcohol is that it is essentially the temporary relief of fear. So if you had any fear at all going into that, and then you did that probably alleviated some of that fear, and you were able to reflect on it in a different way. So, while I wouldn't call alcohol a plant medicine, it still has an alternating or an altering of the mind effect, which can be useful as long as it's done in moderation.
That was a very moderate shot. So
a moderate shot, yeah.
Not like I took the whole bottle, got blackout drunk. It was more of like, I need a little shake up, because I've been actually thinking of doing mushrooms for some time, but like usually I don't like to eat for the whole day if I'm doing them, or at least I like to fast. And I was literally getting hungry and I was about to eat dinner. I was like, oh, this doesn't feel good to like have a fun trip. So I just figured the tequila was going to do the trick for me.
That's funny. Okay. Well, that's great. Okay. So with all of that and this, we sometimes need that sort of thing to kind of help us break out of it. And usually we would do mushrooms or ayahuasca for the big ones, or maybe a little cannabis or something like that for the smaller ones. Yeah, so that's good. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah, this is good. Jaybird says, isn't tequila made from agave? Agave is a plant, right? So it's a plant medicine. Right.
I feel like I just needed the spirit of tequila to come to me.
Right. That is something that is kind of interesting, right? Because if
I
you
should
look
actually
at
channel that, I wonder, huh?
all of the plant medicines do have a spirit associated. You have the mother in ayahuasca. You have mescalito, the father in peyote. You have even the earth apple is another name for the mushroom spirit. But caffeine and tobacco also have spirits, but alcohol does not. It's a completely different thing altogether because it's actually like a poison, so it's not quite the same as the other plant medicines, but it's
I mean, obviously it's different than other plant medicines, but I feel like there's still something within it. I think this is gonna be my little like assignment for this week. I think I'm gonna like see what's up with these different alcohols, or maybe there's like, obviously there's a good kind and bad kind. Obviously there's bad spirits and there's good spirits, just like what we're going to be talking about today, right? There's bad spirits and there's good spirits,
right.
so I feel like maybe it's also the quality of like the alcohol, like the quality or like the elements within it. Like she just said agave is in tequila, like maybe because agave is extracted or whatever, there's still this elemental like thing within.
I would frame it just a little bit differently, and I would say that it's about your current vibration. So if you are at a high vibration, you could have some, most likely, and then you would be fine. But if you were at a low vibration and you did that, then you're more likely to bring in things that you do not want. You're more likely to bring in those spirits that you don't want to have anything to do with. And so, I had to kind of get over an alcohol addiction, I guess. I mean, it wasn't too bad, but it was bad. And it was a habit, I would say. And in the process of my awakening, if an opportunity presented itself where I could have a drink, I would ask my guides, hey, is this going to lower my vibration if I have this drink? And I would get a definitive yes or no. And then I would act exactly as directed. If it said, yes, you're going to lower your vibration, I'd say, nope, not for today. But if they said, no, it'll be okay, then I would allow myself to do it. But now over the last 6 months, I haven't had it at all. And I think I'm done for life. I don't think I'm ever going to have it again. Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely been a hot minute since I had one, but yesterday, well, I was also doing I did like a photo session for family, and like I was just getting like stressed from like finishing up the photos just because it was the first like client that I ever had that was just very like calling me like every other day, like, are they ready? Are they ready? Like,
oh wow.
And I'm just like, I've heard of these type of people, but I'm like, I've never
that'll add to your stress. Yeah.
So I was like, I need a shot. And then it reminded me of my old self when I was in my other job, of how I would drink because I would have so many guests like these that would just want these little details done, or just ask so much of me to do that was way above my pay grade, but I still had to do it for customer service sake. And it made me reflect, like, obviously I needed this to come back as to heal from it, or to go back from it. And that's why I didn't drink that much. It was only just like a little bit to shake me up. But then like I meditated on it, and then it actually like grounded me to the sense that I finished some other tasks that I had to do. So it was more of like literally, like, I did check in with myself if I should be doing this, and I think I heard no, but I still did it. But I worked myself to raise that vibration, because obviously I was getting really grounded and about to get not productive, but then like I was able to, get over it, or I used that internal power of myself, or that internal voice to jump over that hill that I was about to like go down on.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, yeah, that makes total sense. And I want to say hi to Adele and to anybody else who's watching. Please say hello, introduce yourselves to us, tell us where you're from or why you're here today. And so, why are we here today? One of the topics that we're going to talk about is giving your power away. We've talked a lot about power. It seems like recently, in the last couple episodes, we've been talking about that. But this one is just a slight difference in that it's very easy to give your power away, and it's easy to give your power away to people, to entities, to any situation that you find yourself in, to depression, to PTSD, to society, to alcohol, to plant medicines. Like, so easy to do it. And we don't even realize that we're doing it And it's one of those things that it's pretty easy to catch someone else doing it, especially if you watch the way that they talk, then all of a sudden you'll see something or hear something that they say that you're like, oh, I see what you're doing here. You are giving your power away to this situation, this entity, this whatever. And it's hard because, you know, you'll go to shaman and light workers and say, hey, I've got a negative entity situation. What am I going to do about it? And they'll tell you that you need to raise your vibrational frequency and step into your power. Well, that isn't okay. Great. How do I do that? Like, what is the process for doing that? It's not usually something that people just know how to do. And so that's why today's video was all about that. And we can definitely talk about it today. And then I'm looking at Jaybird's comment. She hails from Gulf Shores, Alabama, as of right this minute. She doesn't really hail from Gulf Shores, Alabama, but right now that's where we're hailing from.
I envision like these halos, like actual angel halos above you guys.
We halo. That's right. We halo. You halo from Hawaii, and and we right now halo from Alabama. And yeah, right above my head right now, I'm kind of touching it with the top of my head, is the painting that Monika did for Jaybird. And so you can see it there. We could grab it and bring it up closer. But why don't you tell everybody quickly, Monika, what it was that you were doing with that painting?
Yeah, so I think it was 2 podcasts ago, maybe 3. We were talking about animals, animal spirits or something along the lines with animals, and there was a few people that had talked about how their like pets had just like passed away, and then like we were talking about like grieving, and then Jaybird said something about her cat, and I just felt like this energetic shift through her like or like vibration through her messaging that, and I got like not like I got sad, but I was like, "Oh, like I have this urge, I want to help her. I want to like reunite her with her cat." Her cat's still living, but you guys are traveling and such, so the cat's not with her. And so what I do is I channel people's higher self, and I can also do it for pets. And I channeled her pet's higher self into an abstract piece. And while I paint, I get to know about that pet's soul, like where it came from, its spirit guides, like different types of like ascended, it's different lifetimes that it had. But the main thing for pets is that I actually get to channel why it's here to help you. And while I was actually painting Midget, I even wanted to cry because I could just feel all that unconditional love that cat just like vibrates. My cat is the complete opposite. I was almost like jealous when I was painting. I was like, oh my God, why isn't my cat like this? But obviously, I have a different lesson with my cat to learn. But hers was just like, I was also listening to this beautiful piano music while I was painting it. And it was just like this beautiful energy that was just like circulating me and the cat. And it was also funny because right before the podcast, we were talking about something else. But I also give you a message, like I write out the message that comes through while I'm painting, and then what I channel. I kept hearing like, "Don't write anything for Xane. Like Xane will figure it out." And I think we're learning now that you are starting to figure out what this cat is helping you for, because you've never met this cat, only maybe like in your dreams, I think you said.
No, I've met the cat, definitely. Yeah. I haven't lived with it. So because I was there, met the cat multiple times, and then we got on the road. So,
Okay.
but still, that there is something interesting that we're continuing to uncover, and it was something that I wanted to talk about in today's podcast anyway, and that is that fairly recently a new spirit has entered my very active life experience. So this spirit has been with me for a little while, but now it's very active, and so much so that it will move my body. So I will allow it to come in and make movements, and it tends to do a lot with my shoulders. So my shoulders kind of bounce around, my legs kind of shake. Different parts of my body will move if I allow the spirit to do so. And it was at first just kind of happening for fun, And then not too long ago, maybe less than a week ago, it came in as a healing tool. So I was working with Jaybird on something, and the next thing I knew, it was really coming in, and I received information that this process, what I was doing with my movements, was a tandem thing that I can work with other people to do. And this is what it is. While I'm doing this particular movement, anybody who is participating can reprogram their own minds. They can make changes to the way that they think, the way that they experience things, change their emotional responses to things. It's totally up to them. They get to do it while I'm doing this motion or doing this process. Now it's integrating into all of my activations. Now, just days later, I can be in the middle of doing a one-on-one session with someone, and the next thing I know, I'm doing this sort of thing as I'm chanting or toning or whatever, and they're experiencing even more extreme and more powerful results. So when this started to happen, I got pretty excited, obviously, because wow, I can even help people in more ways than I had been previously. And then it kind of came to me that its origin and just kind of like a category that it fits into. And so then today I got an opportunity to talk to one of my mentors who taught me quite a bit about my spiritual gifts at the very beginning of my journey. And I asked her, okay, tell me who this new spirit is. I want to know. And I didn't tell her anything, but what I had figured out, and to a T, she said exactly what I had been discovering. So she said that it's an intergalactic, that it's ninth dimensional, and that it is male, which was unusual because generally the spirits that we work with are not so much based in male or female, because male and female is very much an earth experience. It isn't necessarily a spiritual experience or a 5D or higher. And then she said it has a shaman-like quality to it. So, and that was exactly what I had figured out. Up to that point, I knew that it was a male shaman and that it had revealed itself at some point pretty early on, and it may have been during an ayahuasca experience that I had with Jaybird. And 6-8 months ago, I don't even remember exactly when it was. So then to have that reinforcement and everything was kind of amazing. And then you today just said what you said. Why don't you go ahead and say it again?
I said that spirit is in the painting because it's a part of Midget, or a part of the cat whose name is Midget. Yeah.
Right. And then I got confirmation that was correct, and you got confirmation that was correct.
Yeah.
So
when did this happen? Like right after you got the painting, or did this start happening before?
Oh, gosh, that is such a good question, because I didn't really notate that, right? And so it could very well be that we put it up on that wall, and then all of a sudden I was doing activations for Jaybird using that new approach.
Without you even knowing it. Yeah, without you even knowing, because that's what these paintings do. They have all this, I engrave all these channelings into them, and then they will work for you when you're ready. And it's like a painting that evolves with you, because it's always you, or it's always that higher self or that being that's in there, and it's just waiting for you to catch up to what it's here to tell you. And every day it's going to give you a different message. And now you can actually meditate with that painting and look within the textures and shapes to see what else is in there, because there might be a symbol that it will help you with these activations that you do, or like I said, like you'll hear a message within it.
Right. Yeah. And so, yes, I had channeled him previously. And he had also done the body movement while we were still on the road. So before we got the painting, but it wasn't probably until we got the painting that I was doing active healings with his assistance. And I love it. Robert North Jr., tell us. He says BS. Like, no way, this can't be true. Robert, tell us, what are you BSing? And are you amazed? Are you wowed? Or are you like, no way, this is all crap? I want to hear it. I can't wait. And Lizette Torres, hi Lizette, no problem. You're here now, and that's what's important. And then Claire, I just got to talk to Claire yesterday. I'm so glad you're here, Claire. I'm excited to hear from you some more, and let us know what you're experiencing and what you feel during this broadcast and any others. Okay, and so Mandy says, who are you guys talking about? I was late. Okay, so just very quickly, that new spirit that I've been channeling and that has been helping me do new healing, kind of like a new modality, I would say, adding it to what I've already been doing. So Mandy, I think you were there while I was talking about it at the last class. So Mandy is a big proponent and big beneficiary of taking detached, and so much so that she's finally gotten her art out there and is now going to have an art exhibit, an art show, because her art got out there. She felt confident enough to go ahead and do that. So she's just this wonderful success story that I'm so proud of, because she's really worked hard to get to the place where she is. So good job again, Mandy. So, okay. So I'm all over the place. So, so anyway,
I feel like to sum it up, it is that your new guide came through because you met Jaybirds, and Jaybird's cat was already this high vibrational being that you also needed. And so obviously your soul contract was assigned to meet all of these things, to come into this moment of then you remembering yourself even more through my painting, which was me channeling Midget's energy into it. And it's probably why I felt so strongly compelled to paint his cat, the cat, because I could have easily just painted Jaybird or you, but I chose the cat, which was an even bigger activation or bigger impact in both of your lives.
Absolutely. And now that I think about it, the cat was there when we did ayahuasca. I had completely forgotten about that aspect. Yeah. Oh, wow. So it does all kind of coincide. And and you know what's amazing is when you raise your vibration really super high, these sorts of things happen all the time, and you get to tell incredible, impossible stories about how all of these things fit together to create exactly where you are and what you're experiencing in life. And so that, you know, that is if you want to have experiences like this, then do what you need to do to raise your vibration. And that's what we do in Detached. That's all about what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, it's also just following that intuition, because it was my intuition that led me to painting, and now it's just doing all of these, beautiful things for people. You followed your intuition when you finally did ayahuasca, or that you linked up with the Jaybird and stuff. So it's like I feel like it's still that underlining thing of surrendering to that inner voice of yours. Again, knowing that you are confident this is your true intuitive voice, because obviously your inner voice can also be, sometimes a little bit different, or just like channeled through different spirits. So it's harder to sometimes detect your intuition. But once that connection with your intuition gets stronger and stronger, then it's easier to then take the next step or to follow through. You're laughing.
I know it's because these messages are coming through. The Jaybird, she corrected you, the Jaybird, and then she said that she is as awesome as Batman now because she's the Jaybird, the Batman.
Did I say the Jaybird?
I don't know. I don't actually know why she's commenting like that, but no. She said the. So you said the Jaybird. You were probably trying to say the cat, and you were probably trying to say the cat, and you ended up saying the Jaybird or something like that. It's great. I love it. Okay. All right.
That's why I love going live, because people just catch up on what we say.
Yep. And she is. It's totally true. She is a superhero. Yep. All right. So let's go ahead and does anybody have any questions about that, and that wild story of the convergence of the new spirit that I'm working with and how it all came through? Jaybird's cat, Jaybird, ayahuasca, and Monica's painting, how all these things intertwine. Okay, so Lizette's asking, I'm in Tampa and can't find anywhere that has ayahuasca retreats. So, of course, the issue here is that ayahuasca is one part of ayahuasca is dimethyltryptamine, DMT, which is unfortunately a Schedule 1 drug in the United States. So you can't necessarily do that legally. So what's interesting about it is that, of course, the ingredients to create the formula or the combination of things that makes up ayahuasca, those ingredients are completely legal. There's nothing wrong with them. But when you actually produce or create the liquid, the beverage, then that beverage, once you've done it all, now that beverage is illegal. So it's one of those crazy things that you have to do. Now, I've had ayahuasca. I had one ayahuasca retreat in the U.S. performed by a shaman in a teepee with 16 other people. This was in the Chicago suburbs, but she was a traveling shaman. So she had a kind of like an RV that she had packed with all the stuff that's needed to perform these things. So she just goes around and does that. So you can find those things, but they're not going to be super easy to find because they are, as I said, illegal. Now you can go out of the country. You can go to Costa Rica. You can go to Mexico. Yeah, you can go to all these other places and do it. Or you can administer it yourself, which I don't necessarily recommend, because the reason that you have a shaman in these situations is because their vibration is very high, and they make sure that your vibrational frequency is high during the experience, because it is opening a gateway to the spirit world. If your vibration is low, when you open your gateway to the spirit world, then the types of spirits or the types of entities or whatever that come through are going to match your vibrational frequency. So that's why there's all this ritual and all this work involved in doing ayahuasca, where you have to fast for so long, and you have to do these very specific things in order and so on during the actual ceremony. It's all about raising that vibrational frequency. So unless you're very high, then you don't really want to self-administer. But there are options. And so Lizette, Lizette says it's legal in Tampa. Wow, that's new. That's new to me. I did not actually know that. That's kind of interesting. I kind of want to do that research now myself. Thanks, Lizette.
Gotta go back to Tampa.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we're going back to Tampa. Okay. So anyway,
Florida.
Right,
I'm moving with you.
Yeah. Oh, and Mandy's trying to say that maybe this new spirit that I'm working with, name is Enoch.
I gotta know.
So. Yeah, she got to know on that. You got to know. Okay, I haven't done a test on that yet. One theory is that it is mescalito, that it's the spirit of peyote, even though I've never actually consumed peyote as a plant medicine. So now, if that's true,
yes, for that.
Okay, yeah,
it's kind of cool.
Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me. And so if I get an opportunity, I definitely want to have that experience too, because I haven't yet.
Yeah, I haven't done peyote either. I heard it's more, not like intense, but you don't throw up from it, but it's still like pretty. I think it's not like stronger than ayahuasca, but it's definitely a different experience. I think like if you have more like addictions to like heavy like heroin or something like that, I think I heard peyote is a much better thing for it.
Yep. I also got confirmation on the mescalito thing just now, by the way.
That's good. Yeah, because the retreat that I went to, one of the lady, her son was a heavy addict, and he did peyote in Mexico. It was like kind of like I don't know if it was a research center or something, but it was like a very intense one. And like when he came back, like he didn't have that addiction anymore, and was definitely a completely different person. But yeah, peyote is the masculine version of, or the male version, right? The father of
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, they call ayahuasca the mother and peyote or mescalito the father, because mescaline is the main ingredient, and
Oh, it's the
peyote gives
ingredient.
you the
Okay.
plant medicine experience. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, super interesting. Yeah. So, okay.
Well, it's even more interesting. I guess we can talk about the show, but like you said, Jaybird had mentioned that she's very connected to ayahuasca or the spirit of ayahuasca, and now you're like connected to the spirit of like peyote. So it's a very cool dynamic that the two of you have.
Yeah, absolutely.
We
Yes.
should
And
actually
that's
definitely
something.
like dive a little bit deeper within that, and channel like either channel something through, or maybe you'll come up with something new, or new medicine, or a new form of healing for people.
So Jaybird says that she was told the name of the shaman that is working with me, the spirit that resides within me, on New Year's Eve in a tent under the stars, drinking mushroom tea. And that's where she got that. So that's pretty amazing. Yeah.
She's holding out on you.
No, I think she told
Oh,
me
she
at the
told you?
time, or yeah, but
But you
it
weren't
kind of,
listening.
no, I listened, but I feel like,
It just didn't register.
yeah, I didn't integrate it totally. So now
It wasn't the time to integrate it.
exactly. Now it's fully integrated. Lizette says, after my awakening, when I was in the shower, I saw my cousin who passed 5 years ago. I think it's because I was in the bliss stage. Okay. Excellent, Lizette. So I'm excited for you because, I want you to open yourself up to the possibility that there is no such thing as a bliss stage, that it begins and then ends, to always open yourself up to the bliss stage, because the bliss stage can constantly be happening, and it's up to you to recognize that you're actually in it. I know that at the time that it felt very different than you do now, but it isn't that far away from you. It's always available to you.
Schubert said he ignores me.
Oh my gosh, no. So he's like, I told him, he ignores me. So
we were supposed to be talking about negative entities, right? Or something about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah, we were supposed to, but I also wanted to talk about this, obviously. So
yeah, no, I know, but I feel like there's a connection between that we're talking, and then should we link it to negative entities somehow?
Yeah,
or?
Let's do that. Ms. Segway, what do you got for us?
I mean, you're the master of negative entities.
Right.
I'm just the commenter of like, oh, can you tell me more? I want to know more. What about this?
Right. Yeah. Okay. So what Lizette experiences, yes, it was euphoric, and I don't know how to get back there. This is one of those situations where your expectations, Lizette, may actually be the thing that keeps you from getting back there. If you want it so badly that you actually create resistance to getting there, that's something you have to allow for. So here's one of the ways to get back there, is to be totally okay with never getting back there. It sounds oxymoronic, but it's actually the best possible way to move into a flow state. The more that you think that it's over and I'll never get back there, obviously you're creating resistance there. Or if you're saying, gosh, I really just want to get back there, how do I get back there? Then that's also weirdly creating resistance. To actually be in an is state and say, hey, whatever is or whatever isn't is perfectly okay with me, is putting yourself in the best possible position to get back there. But there's more to it than that. So, negative entity attachments or bliss states, they can cause the exact same thing. And it sounds like I'm crazy right now, but in both cases, you are driven to take some sort of action, to make some sort of change, to raise the vibrational frequency, to step into your power, to do something, to move into acceptance or surrender. Any number of those things that you need to do in order to get to that state. or to remove that negative entity. It doesn't matter what the thing is. That desire and that drive is the thing that makes us humans do something at all. Otherwise, we just, melt around as puddles on the ground. Instead, we are given the ability to actually take action, and physical action, mental action, energetic action, emotional action. There's so many different things that we can do. So all that you really need to do is relax and surrender and wait and maybe even ask, hey, what is it that I could do in order to get back to my euphoric state? Or what is it that I need to do in order to remove this negative entity suffering? Or what is it that I need to do to get over my depression, PTSD, whatever it might be? And keep your mind open to the possibilities of where it might take you. So, oh, look at this. And Jaybird's responding to you. But you can't see it because you're on YouTube and she's on Facebook. So Jaybird says, try taking a nice calming warm shower. The calm state of relaxation, much like when you lay down to sleep, opens you up to the ability to connect to that state and the spirit world. That's my 2 cents. I used to meditate in the shower because of the intense relaxation that comes from the hot water. Love it. That's a great possibility there. And she may have just tapped into Lizette very specifically. Right. Okay. So she has anxiety. All right. So what Jaybird said and what I said works perfectly for Lizette, and really to move into that surrender. Okay. So what you're trying to do, Lizette, is that you're trying to run away from your anxiety. No, I don't want that. And you're trying to run toward, give me bliss, because I don't want that. So that's one of the biggest obstacles that you have at first, is that to essentially be okay with anxiety. The more that you fight against your anxiety, the more anxiety you have. So to say, you know what, anxiety, you've got this for me. I'm supposed to feel you for some reason. Let me just go ahead and experience it. Actually, even make it worse, universe. Make the worst anxiety that I can possibly imagine, because I will prove how powerful I am, that I can handle it. So now we're transitioning into the topic of today. Yay! It is not giving your power away. So what Lizette is doing is essentially giving her power to the anxiety. So now what we're saying is, you know what? I don't have to fight this anxiety. I don't have to run from it. I don't have to make it go away at all. That anxiety is there for me for a reason. Universe, you've given it to me. Thank you so much. I don't know why, but I'm totally fine with it. And so I am completely open to any possibility. And whatever that possibility is, please bring it to me. And then what you're going to start to see is that anxiety that you've been dealing with might start to disintegrate a little bit. It might be elusive, because as soon as you invite it in, you might be like, oh, well, wait, I'm not feeling it as much. It was in my chest, right? I know I felt it in my chest, or it's in the back of my head. All of a sudden, it's harder to grasp onto. So when you go ahead and welcome it and allow it, then you're starting to actually step into your power, because you're saying, I can handle it.
Yeah. And then Lizette too, like, because obviously I made the painting for Jaybird for the cat, but I also have healing prints that hold activations too. So if you gravitate towards one of the waves or the abstracts, maybe there's something within them too that will help further alleviate you getting into that bliss state as well, because there are different spirit guides that most of us just don't know about, but within those paintings you might be able to find one that is ready to work with you to level you up. I also even have like an intuitive pick where I can pick one for you in case you're overwhelmed with what you need to get. And then those are just simple tools that can help you further align you back to that state that you want to be in.
Yeah, awesome. And then because Lizette's on YouTube and Jaybird's on Facebook, Lizette, ignore the anxiety when you're having an attack. Go for a walk. Distract yourself with busy work. It will disappear in time. Just know that it will and it shall. Yeah, exactly. That knowing. Analyzing it after the initial attack will help you deal with new ones in the future. Bingo. Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
anxiety is just like a really it's like very common. I mean, I get it too. There's no doubt about it. But it's all again, it's not giving into that anxiety, whether it's questioning why is this anxiety here or trying to not necessarily put it on the rug, but more like confronting it and then, welcoming it with open arms. Like, okay, I'm currently having this. What did I do right before to get this? Did I eat something that made me feel this way? Did I drink something that resulted to this? Am I not eating or drinking, which is causing this anxiety? You also want to look at your surroundings. Maybe there's a surrounding within you that is causing that anxiety. So maybe you need to know not to be in this environment or around this person because it makes you feel a certain way. But all of this is all still like you for the remembering yourself or remembering your oneness. Like this anxiety right now is your lesson. Like, how can I get back to the present moment? How can I return back to my most aligned self? And maybe it's doing more of your passions, more of you haven't been taking time for yourself. So it's also just evaluating your life or your current day to what had led to this anxiety. And maybe it's about too much thinking of the future, which is also not being present. So it's all a lot of it, at least for me, anxiety has always been stemmed that I'm not being present enough.
yeah, yeah, and it's totally true. It is. You can get anxiety is generally a fear, and fear is a prediction of the future. Fear is not a prediction of the past. The past has already happened. You can't be afraid of something that's already happened. You can only be afraid of something that hasn't happened yet. And the more unlikely it is to happen, weirdly, in this backwards way, we're more likely to be afraid of it. And we can illustrate all of that very clearly, but just kind of know that that's the truth, and that it will also pass. That's the other amazing thing, is that when Monika came on, she was dealing with a little bit of a cold. So when Monika, you got your cold, you didn't say, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to have this for the rest of my life," right? You never think that. You always know that it's going to go away. You don't ever, it's just the way that works. Well, that's true for any way that you're suffering on this planet at any time ever. You're never going to suffer in that way for the rest of your life. It changes, it flows, it ebbs, it dips, it intensifies. And really, in this kind of horrible way, you can also know that all of our experiences are temporary, including all the miserable ones, just because we know that we will eventually die and we'll revert back to our spirit selves, where all the anxiety and all the pain and all the suffering that we had in this life will be inaccessible to us. So know that it's temporary, even at that level. But far more for me to say. What phrase was I trying to say there? I was trying to mix like multiple metaphors. Ultimately, it's going to change in the next hour. It's going to change in the next 30 minutes. So that's why it's kind of easy, I guess, to welcome it in, to accept it, to surrender to it, because just like a cold, it's not going to last for the rest of your life. At worst, a cold's going to last a week, maybe 2 weeks, but it's going to be gone, just like any other suffering.
And the cold is here to teach me to, take more time for myself, to take more care for myself. So that anxiety is also whatever anxiety that you're currently in, it's giving you exactly what you need in that moment, because it's a lack that you're currently doing to yourself.
Yeah. So Liz, it says, "I'm scared of what might or might not happen. And I know that, but I still worry about it. I'm going to try to let go." Yeah. Okay. So
she said that her house flooded, and I don't know if she's in Australia, but I know in Australia there's a lot of flooding going on right now. So
yeah, Lizette, tell us where you are, but yeah, I can totally understand that. I mean, you have physical evidence of things to be worried about. So Lizette wants you to repeat about the painting, which I'll let you do in a second here. Okay. But okay, so when you have situations like that, and then Jaybird and I actually just said it too, we just experienced it as well, that our house, which we drive around on 4 wheels, was in an accident, and we thought for sure that now for the rest of that was gone. It was going to be a totaled vehicle, and that we weren't ever going to be able to do that. We had to try to find a new place to live. We had to do all this stuff, and we were not very excited about it. You're looking at a similar situation possibly. Oh my gosh, is the flooding going to damage the house too much? Am I going to be able to live in it? How is this all going to go? I have no control over the situation. Control, of course, we want control because we fear. Once we surrender and we say, oh, I don't have any control over this, I don't know how this is all going to go, then we start to reduce that fear and that anxiety. So why would this happen to you? Maybe something amazing is going to happen. Maybe the insurance payout will be fantastic and it'll help you do all kinds of things. Maybe you are supposed to do something new in your life. Maybe it's marking a transition. But know that the universe always creates and destroys what it no longer needs. So you are in the possibility here of creating of something brand new. When I think back to two vehicle situations, there was a couple of years ago, I was driving and I was distracted while I was driving. I was looking at my radio or something, and I started to veer into oncoming traffic and didn't realize it. I heard a voice in my head say, "Look up." And as soon as I did, I went, "Oh, shoot, okay." And I moved over, right? Well, 2 weeks ago, when we got into that accident, there was no voice saying, "Don't turn left," because of course that's what I did. I turned left and hit someone trying to do a left U-turn. So now I know that was supposed to happen. That exact situation, it played out exactly as it did. And already we've had incredible results from increased relationship between Jaybird and I, probably a lot of the stuff with this new spirit guide, on and on, so many things. We started looking for a place. We decided maybe we should settle down, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff happened. And then we just got word yesterday, or maybe the day before, that they are going to fix the van. So we are going to actually get it back, and we don't have to do that, make that change in our lives. So you just want to be open to every possibility because the universe is there to help you. Now, I saw lots more texts and comments coming in while I was talking, so I'm going to catch up for a second. Go ahead, Monica.
Yeah. Lizette is actually in Tampa. I forgot she was saying about the legality of the stuff. Yeah.
Right.
But Lizette, if you go on my website, it's monikakupik.com. If you can see it on the screen, or Xane can type it in.
I'm doing it right now.
There's a section called Healing Prince Meaning. If you click on it, you'll see all of the paintings that I have that are activated with different spirits and activations. In the description, you'll see and you can read what that print does for you, or what that wave or what that abstract does. But when you see all of them, you'll see that your eye may gravitate towards one. That's where your spirit guide or whoever is here to help you is actually within that one. I also have an intuitive pick option. So instead of you picking which one, I can intuitively select one for you and then write you a little note about why I picked that one. So those are the two variations. Or you can take the personal route where there's the energy portrait section where I can paint your energy into a abstract or a wave, and then those will have personal activations similar to the one that I was explaining about Jaybird's cat painting, where it's in the different shapes and symbols, and then on the back I'll write what had come through during the channeling of your painting.
Awesome.
So
okay.
Sums it up.
Yeah, nice. And then Jose says, I've been to floods, tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, now a pandemic and a war, and I lost a night of sleep because I had a near-death experience in 1987. It changed my life. No heaven or hell, just life. Yeah, see, we receive these gifts like Jose did, and it can change everything. And near-death experiences are just as powerful as really any of the plant medicines or anything like that, because it's an awakening catalyst, and you get to see what post-life experiences are actually like, and that drops your fear, and it makes you go, oh, okay, well, I'm totally ready for whatever happens now, because I know that this is temporary, and I know I move into this post-life experience that's going to be beautiful and fantastic.
Yeah, it's like similar to when I split my head open during my surf accident, the times I've done ayahuasca or DMT. It's like you get that death experience, but then you come back and you appreciate the present moment even more, and you're able to overcome these different challenges that then come up. Or, like not getting angry when I get a flat tire or crashing, or like you crashing into someone. It's just that knowing that, okay, let me reevaluate what's been going on in my life that led up to this. Or maybe it's just being open and surrendering to this incident that will then lead to a different greater awakening, or someone else needs to come through. Because when I split my head open, like 2 days or a day after, I kept hearing call my friend that does Reiki on me, and she channeled in a different spirit dimension, like galactic being, also into me. And that became a channeling that helped me channel so much for my paintings. So it's like you having this car crash, me splitting my head open. It's almost like these incidents are just like almost like a split in the matrix in a way, for a spirit to come in. Okay, they're ready for me. They're ready for me now. It's time to go. And then they come into us and we embody that because we release something within ourselves, or release this like perception of being, A, B, and C. And we're able to let go of A, B, and C and become like MNOP or whatever, or like XYZ. We're going further down the chain because we're so much receptive of getting rid of this first layer of ourselves, the second layer that we think we are, the third layer, but we're actually the sixth, seventh, eighth, or even 20th layer that we're supposed to uncover.
Yeah, it's kind of cool too, because if you think about it, if we hadn't been in the car accident, then we wouldn't have really had a permanent address for you to send us the painting.
Yeah.
Right. So like there's so many different things, so many ways that we can evaluate all the different experiences that we have. And when we put a little bit of effort into saying, oh, okay, well, this wouldn't have happened without this and that and that, what we find is that the negative things are huge in giving us that possibility. So who knows, Lizette, what's going to happen because you've had flooding? Maybe it's going to be this moment that you look back on for the rest of your life saying, thank goodness that flooding thing happened, because it's of what it's led me to. Yeah. Oh, good.
Oh, wow. Did you look at Mandy's thing?
Yeah. I wanted to talk about this too. So what about a detached alumni reunion day for former graduates? No doubt about it. Mandy, as much as all the other people that have been in the program, is that we have great community, and it continues to expand, obviously, as we add more and more people to it. And that community is a huge support system for everybody who's dealing with all these difficult problems. It's I would definitely love to do that, Mandy. And I've been planning it. We just have to figure out the right timing and what we're going to do exactly.
Yeah. So many good things. Even Jaber now is asking, is Lizette's anxiety gone?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, hey, Lizette, how you doing? How's your anxiety now? So my connection says it's a little bit slow. Is it right now? Or are you hearing me?
You're just a little foggy. I can still hear you properly, but your screen is just a little blurry.
Gotcha.
There's just a little glitch in the matrix.
Yeah, sure. Well, what I was thinking is that I could do a little kind of like miniature version of that activation for anybody who wants to participate. So if you guys, hopefully the connection is good enough for you guys to participate. But if you'd like to, we can do it for a couple of minutes here at the very end.
Sure. I'm all for it.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So,
the painting that I did.
Right. So what you can do here is you can close your eyes if you'd like to, or you can even keep your eyes open. We experimented with both methods, and they both worked. Kind of whatever's most comfortable for you. But so if you're going to close your eyes, do so now. Wow, it's already coming through. So I want you to take a nice big deep breath and relax as you exhale. So what we want you to do here is want you to just go ahead and focus on an aspect of yourself that you would like to see changed. If you could change anything about yourself, the way that you respond, the way that you think, anything like that at all, then you get to do that while I'm doing this activation. It's already started. As you can see, if you've got your eyes open, and I probably won't say a whole lot. We're just going to allow this to come through in a vibratory way. And so you can just remain breath aware if I'm not speaking. So we allow the spirit of Mescalito, Midget, the painting, Okay. Okay, hopefully that came through okay. You can open your eyes if you've had them closed. All right. Did anybody feel anything, experience anything? I'm still in the very early stages of this, so any feedback you can provide would be amazing.
Yeah, I definitely felt some. Usually when I get activations, I feel something in my head or in my spine. So I definitely had could feel something coming through. You know, the sound that, I don't know, whatever sound that was happening to you, but it sounded like an Aboriginal, like an Aboriginal sound. So it was really nice.
Nice. What did you reprogram about yourself?
I'm gonna keep it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Lizette experienced some intensity. Good. You have to tell us more if you'd like.
It was cool. Alex.
Thanks, Alex. Awesome.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so if you want more of that sort of thing, then I definitely recommend jumping into the next detached class, which starts March 22nd. You can learn more about that. Oh, good. Nice. Bernice says, my heart was beating almost like my heart chakra was pumping hard. I asked to help me with self-acceptance. Excellent. Very good. And yeah, that's been a big theme lately for that. So I'm excited for you, Bernice. That's great. So I'm gonna put a link here. So if anybody's interested in joining the next class of Detached, you can learn all about it using that link. And then Mandy says, I'm wanting obliteration of any old ego standing in the way of growth. Very good. Okay. Obliteration, that there's a little bit of non-acceptance in that word. But I think I know what you were actually going for, and that is to open yourself up to this like acceptance, right? This actually non-judgment of self, especially.
Yeah, my main one was to just be open to whatever this energy is supposed to give me. It wasn't even setting an intention. I mean, there was one intention, but the other was just to receive what it's supposed to give me.
Nice, beautiful. And Tarika said, "Thank you. I felt it flow from my crown and flowed down my back." Fantastic. Thank you, Tarika.
Very similar to my experience.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah, and so for the program, there's 20 to 40 minute activations every week for 7 weeks, as well as all kinds of insight and teachings and tools that you can use to overcome emotional burdens and suffering and all types of suffering that all lead to negative entity attachments, and especially helping you step into your power, which we didn't talk a lot about today. But it is true that we give entities our power when we worry about what they are, who they are, when they're going to go away, and all that sort of thing, when actually it's all about you. It's not about the entity, it's about you and what you can do to raise that frequency and step into that power and all of that. All right. Well, yeah, it is. Well, what a great podcast, Monika. We had some awesome revelations and experiences. And
it's a good one. Yeah,
really
this one
good.
Definitely. I feel like because we passed over the hour 50 mark, and now we're just like rolling.
Yeah, we got this all figured out.
That awkward phase is already gone.
Right. Yeah, exactly. The awkward phase is already gone. It only took like a year. Yes, she felt it in her eyes. Awesome, Claire. Thank you. And then Mandy says there's a lot of positive growth and change that comes with taking the full course. Oh, thank you, Mandy. I appreciate that. Yeah, there is a lot that happens. And then everybody's invited to come back and take it as many times as they want to for free for the rest of their lives. So it's quite the opportunity to really grow a great community. All right. With that, I will say goodbye, and I won't be able to come next week and do this next week because we'll be traveling again. We've got to travel somewhere else while the van is fixed, and it's got to be on Thursday. So we won't be here next week, but the week after.
Wonderful.
All right.
Aloha, everyone.